Hi and welcome to the video. This is part 3 and we're going to be looking at the Sonoff 4-channel Pro. Great little device, stacks of functionality on this one. Not only is it a Wi-Fi driven device, so using it via our app or via IFTT, Alexa and Google, we can also use an RF input. So using this RF4 button key fob, we can control the device. Some other differences with this one, we have relays now on the outputs. So we have normally open, common and normally closed on each channel. So great, again, adding extra functionality. We've got a set of contacts now rather than just a voltage output, an AC voltage output. Superb. What can we do? With it, like all devices, we've got a remote control using our app on the cell phones or tablets. We timing function, again like previous we've seen. We've got a self-locking mode, we've got an interlock mode and an inching mode. What we'll do is pause the video and we will take a look inside and go look further at this. So now we've got the cover off. So what have we got? 4 channels, 4 relays, and say with this one we've got normally open, common, normally closed. So adding a bit more functionality, having contacts here rather than just pure outputs. We can see we've got the DC line coming in, we've got the AC line coming in, and our buttons for programming. This not only does it program the Wi-Fi, this we can program each channel to run on the key fob, and when we fire up we'll take a look at that. We've got the LEDs on this side, so the LEDs stating the state of the relay, but also we've got the LED at the bottom showing us the status of the Wi-Fi and the programming status. We've got some dip switches at the top here. And let's have a look at these because we've got some great functionality here. We've got this first one here. So this is S6, and with S6 we can change from interlock, which when we power up we can look at some examples of that, and then we can click it over and we can go into self-latching, or self-locking should I say, and then inch mode. Again, we'll power it up and I'll show you some of the differences. We've got this one here, which is K5, and K5, that all changes between inching. So if we've selected inching already, then we can go inching, or we can go to self-locking mode. This set of dip switches here, when we're using the inch mode, so inch mode is like when you press a button on a key fob, so it's just one hit, one hit, one hit. So again, once we change these dip switches, we can go from 500 microseconds and we can change them all the way up, and we can go up to 4,000 microseconds. So that's that's half a second up to 4 seconds. So it'd be like pressing a key. So you can press once and it'll count. So it counts half a second all the way up to 4 seconds. This is going to be great functionality if we're going to start using it on garage doors or gates, or we're going to replicate a key fob. So we'll pause the video, we're going to power it up, and I'll show you a few more. I'll show you some of the functionality. But just before I power up and I put the cover on, I'm just going to flip it over. I've just got it over, and we do actually have on the back here, if we get it the right around, I do apologise, on the back here, so there you go, that will show you, that's a great explanation of all the dip switches. There's a pamphlet, there's a little sheet that comes in the box, but I'll pause the video, power it up, and we can show you some of the functionality of this product. So there we go, we've connected on this. Because I've got the cover off, I'm only going to use a DC, so I'm using a DC input of 6 volts, so it's nice and safe. I can poke around in here nice and safe. Never take the cover off this device if you're using the AC input. That's a lot of volts, extremely dangerous. So, but this device can use DC, also AC. If you're going to be inside poking around, programming it, for example, either power off or just run it on the DC. So I don't need to connect this up to anything particularly today, because we've done it many times on many videos showing people turning on swimming pool pumps or lights, etc, etc. So what we can do is just show the output with the LEDs over here. Currently I have set this to go into inching mode. So I've set the dip switches for inch. So here's an example. So we're going to go over here to channel 1 and it would get an input, count down and switch off. Channel 2 gets an input, counts down and switches off. So this could be via the app, it could be via the RF key fob, but also because it's an RF, it's got an RF input, we can use some of the other Sonoff devices. So we've got our window or door proc switch or read switch, electronic read switch or proc switch, whatever you guys call these ones, or you can use the infrared sensor to control it. So again, I'll just bring this up alongside. What I've done, hold this button down click this button twice for pairing and then connect the door switch. So I've already connected the channel, and here we go for an example. Open the door, it alarms out, counts, remember, counting down and off. Move that to one side. There we go. It's counted, it's alarmed out and switched off. I'll show you that again because I caught it in my hand. Alarmed, counts down, switches off. So we can use the app, we can use Alexa, we can use Google, we can use our key fob, we can use the other Sonoff devices, the proc switch, the door switch, the read switch, whatever. Let's say it's got many names, this one, but we all know what it is. Or we can use this particular sensor. This device has multiple inputs. So what I'm going to do now, I will power it down. I'll pause the video. I'm going to power down and I'm going to change the state. So I'm going to change the program of this. So currently we're in inching mode, and I'm going to change it now to interlock mode. Okay. So I've powered it down and I've moved that dip switch across there, the little white one there. I've moved it across and now it's gone into interlock. So what does this do? So currently we've got channel 2 on. We go to channel 1. So channel 1 comes on, this knocks off channel 2. Go to channel 3. 1 off, 3 on. Channel 4. As you can see. Now this is interesting. So we've got channel 3 on. What if we get an alarm? So I will alarm out over here. See what we get. There you go. So look at that. We've alarmed out using the door switch, the window switch, and that's then changed from channel 3 to channel 1. So now that's permanently on. So we'd switch a light on, or we could set a scene. We could switch something on, something off. So great function. But not only that, so if we think about this, not only that, you can use these normally open and normally contacts. So again, you can go from an off to an on, or a made to an open. Again, let's go. So we're going to go back. Channel 1's on because that timed out. Remember that was alarmed by the door switch. Now we're going to go for the sorry, I do apologise, for the IR alarm. There you go. So 2 was alarmed out, knocking out alarm 1. Channel 1. So just the functionality of it is just fantastic. We've got the interlock mode, we've got latching mode, and we've also got self-locking mode. So what I'll do, again, to get to self-locking mode now, we'll go back, we'll knock this one back across, and then we'll change these dip switches here, because remember these are going to change it from inching to self-locking. So we'll change this one first, then this one, obviously when powered down, and again we'll show some functionality of that. Okay, so I've powered it back up. I've changed the dip switches over here, so I've gone back onto self-locking with this particular one, and then I've moved this switch across here. I've moved this again across over, powered it back up, and this is the difference what you get this time. So you'd get this from your app or from an external device, your remote control, or even your alarm sensors, alarm switches should I say. So on, 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 on. So there you go. So these now will just stay on. So that's just typical of some of the previous Sonoff devices, and until you get a signal again, they'll stay on. Gets its alarm, stays on. Go for the other sensor, gets its alarm, stays on. And what we can do, because we've got 4 channels here, we're using channel 1 and 2 for these 2 devices, but I'll just show you how we can program 3 and 4. So 3, we're going to click it twice, 1, 2, and click, there you go, clicked A, and we'll go to channel 4, 1, 2, it's waiting for its signal, got its signal B. So what have we got? Wi-Fi, app driven, Alexa driven, Google driven, IFTT driven, external devices driven, and also RRF key fob. Fantastic device. It's just endless what we can do with this device. This particular device I'm going to be connecting up in the next month. I'm going to be controlling my garage door, and fingers crossed I'll be also controlling the gates, the electric gates. So watch out for that video. And going back to the garage door project, or the electric gate project, so we can program this up using the Alexa app and our iWii Link app. And so you could basically say, obviously we're going to change the dip switch again back, so we want it to go back to inching mode. So this is going to act like a button, so it's going to be a button like you'd get on a key fob for a garage door. Alexa, turn on the garage door. There you go. Alexa, turn on the gate. So there you go. So you can see the functionality there. So that's good. We can check again. We can change the time. We can increase that interval. We can make it a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. But we want to be realistic. We want to be like you would be pressing a garage door or electric gates. So look out for that video. But now let's pause this video, and we're just going to have a few minutes looking at both the apps. And in the final part of this video, we'll just show you connected up to the app. Like all devices, and we must pair this using the Wi-Fi. We pair it to the tablet or the cell phone, and then from there we can connect it to Alexa or Google or IFTT. Shown this many times before on the videos, but I'll just briefly show you this time. Really, the app and these sort of the software side of it would deserve a video of its own, but we'll just briefly connect him up, and you can see it working. So as you can see, the LED at the moment is constant. It is connected to the Wi-Fi, but if it wasn't, it would be flashing slow. So what we do is hold down the button between 5 and 6 seconds and connect up to the app. And we'll use the app, we'll use the tablet again to show this app. We've shown this app many times. We've showed pairing before, but as you'll probably all remember, you'll press and hold one of the buttons here up to 7 seconds. The LED would start flashing rapid. If it hadn't seen a Wi-Fi, it'd be slow flashing. It's constant at the moment, so it's seen the Wi-Fi already. But it would flash rapid. You'd come across the app, plus, next, and then you're connected. You can see I've already connected this one because this is part of an ongoing project for the garage door and the gate. So we'd open that up, as you can see there. So click on that and you can see the apps, the relay's all working as I control that. So that's pretty straightforward. And if you remember, the last configuration I put on this Sonoff 4-channel Pro was inching mode. So it would replicate the button on a key fob. And we can also use Alexa to control this. Alexa, garage door on.
Okay.
There you go. And again, it's going to toggle like would replicate a key fob. Like I say, at the risk of repeating myself, we really want to be doing a complete video just on this software. But what we'll do is quickly just briefly open the Alexa app, and I'll just quickly show you that. We'll shut this one down, close that. Okay, Google, open Alexa app.
There is no incoming call.
She always wants the button. So I've got the Alexa app open, go to home, smart home, you see him there, click on smart home. And there you go. So we've got all the devices. So as long as these two are paired, eWeLink and Alexa, it just all comes up in your app. And then once it's up in the app, then her over there, I won't mention her name, she'll be able to control all these.
Find any enabled video skills.
There you go.
Go to the music, video and books section of the Alexa app.
She does tend to interrupt.
And then link your account and complete setup.
I just wish somebody would do a video on how to keep her quiet. Anyway, so there we go. I say we're probably going to do a whole video on this because it does deserve a whole video on setting up these if we've not done it before. But Alexa, turn on the 4-channel Pro.
Okay.
There you go. So we can turn her on completely, or we can do each individual channel. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this video, and please subscribe. And for those who are subscribing, we're going to, for the next 2 weeks, that's the last 2 weeks in March 2018, we'll be able to offer. I'll be able to get a link so we can get all these devices purchased and we can get a 10% discount. So that's the last 2 weeks in March 2018. We're going to, for all subscribers, be able to get a 10% discount. Thank you very much for watching.